fuck the Labour Party, first of all. I just need to get that off my very hairy chest. So it looks like they want to get rid of Corbyn, obviously. It must be that time of the month, or time of the week, or time of the minute, or second of the day, in fact. Now, is there anybody who isn't getting absolutely fucking sick of the LPP at this point? Could they be any further out of touch with what people actually give a fuck about? Is it possible? They act like this, and then they wonder why people hate them.
Worst day of his leadership, Jeremy Corbyn suffered a mass exodus from the shadow cabinet. Later on, at a bruising meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party, MPs borrowed from the Tory rulebook as they embraced regicide.
They so deeply hate the idea of having a centre-left leader that it's led to this. They will try absolutely fucking anything to get rid of this guy. And that's all Corbyn is. Just centre-left standard. It's nothing strange, it's nothing unusual, it's nothing crazy. We used to have it here in this country, let's say, I don't know, up until about 1979, even on the Conservative side. If you look at the Conservatives around the 50s, they actually look more fucking liberal than New Labour or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves today do. For instance, with regards to privatisation, Harold Macmillan said this. First of all, the George and Silver goes, and then all that nice furniture that used to be in the saloon, and then the Canalettos go. Now, I don't really know what a Canaletto is. One imagines it to be some sort of horrible tinned meat from Lidl. But still, that's how he saw privatisation. That was a standard view, in general, left and right, up until Thatcher. It came from fucking Harold Macmillan. This guy.
Mr. Harold Macmillan becomes Prime Minister of Great Britain after Sir Anthony Eden's surprise resignation.
This afternoon, the Queen did me the great honour to ask me to form a government.
He was the Tory Prime Minister from 1957 to fucking 1963.
I have accepted this duty. The occasion is a sad one for me, brought about as it is by the retirement of my old and very dear friend, Anthony Eden.
This guy, he literally looks exactly how a fucking old school Tory should look.
I'm now engaged in forming a government. I hope to present the list for Her Majesty's approval in a few days' time.
It is often actually misrepresented. People think he said that privatisation is similar to selling off the family silverware. But nonetheless, it shows you an insight into the way that Tories at the time viewed privatisation.
And we shall need the sympathy and the goodwill and understanding of everyone in the country, whatever their party.
By the way, he was also the Earl of Stockton. So yeah, that's a thing. He thought that privatisation was shit. That guy. Can you literally get any more conservative than fucking Harold Macmillan? He is the template of what you expect a Tory to look like. Anyways, point being, it shows the general shift since Thatcher onwards, and there has been no real opposition since. In terms of New Labour were essentially the new Conservatives. You may as well call them that. They're just Conservatives Part 2. That's why Tony Blair's so hated. Unfortunately, Labour now have it in their heads that in order to win, they have to be exactly like that model of what they consider to be Labour. But it's actually more Conservatives than the Conservatives were in the fucking 50s. Try and get your head round that. So finally, Labour goes back to its roots, and they have a centre-left leader. But we can't have that, can we? No, that's not allowed to happen. So what do? They try and get rid of him at every fucking turn. It's absolutely sickening. The amount of smear campaigns, the amount of hatred, the people who fucking walked out of it on him. What the hell is going on in Labour? And then you wonder why people hate you.
Of the Labour Party without having sufficient support, let alone kind of good support in the Parliamentary Labour Party, and nor should you be the leader of the Labour Party if you haven't got support of the wider membership.
Performance both during the months leading up to the European referendum and also during the campaign itself, he displayed a lack of understanding of the fundamental issues relating to migration and the economy.
That he didn't recognise the scale of the challenge, the special responsibility he has as the leader of the Labour Party, and he's lost that pledge.
And to his credit, after going through all this, look at what Corbyn comes out and says.
We need the unite culture of working together for the social justice to which we all aspire. We have a government that is destroying council housing and public sector housing, with a government that is giving tax breaks and tax relief to the super rich within our society. We have a government that is systematically privatising at least half of our National Health Service. And if you overlaid a map of poverty in Britain, one of those heat maps, bright red where it's the poorest, and you then overlaid it with blue dots of where the biggest cuts are taking place, they would be exactly the same, because that is the priority of this government. And must be the tool and the opportunity for the redistribution of wealth, for the opportunities of equality.
Guy that fucking got the support of a huge number of Labour supporters. He attracted new people into the fucking Labour Party. What are they doing down there? But, you know, just because he's been elected by the people doesn't mean it's actual democracy. I mean, it's not like we actually have democracy, is it? No, you have to be told who you should vote for, and you have to be told who your leader should be by other people first, who are real politicians and have your best interests at heart, no matter how much worse they make everything.
Should senior Labour figures leave Jeremy alone?
Senior Labour figures should show respect to the membership of the Labour Party. They should trust the membership of the Labour Party.
In order to keep normal people out, they jack up the price of membership to £25, which is nice of them, isn't it? A nice affordable amount there. So it went from 3 to 25. What can you say? And that applies mainly to people who have recently joined. And of course they most likely support Corbyn. How sad and pathetic can you be? How obvious can you be? Other than keeping Corbyn supporters, or in fact just poor people in general, out of the fucking leadership race. What's the point in doing this? By the way, there's an article below on how to avoid those fees. So, you know, if you feel like it, give it a shot. However, obviously it's most likely past the deadline to register by now. But still, some ideas in there. Sad and pathetic. How desperate are they? What's interesting is it actually shows how fucking scared they really are of Corbyn, and they're really genuinely, obviously terrified that he might become the leader, that he may actually become PM. That's the thing, they're actually scared of that as well. But they don't do themselves any favours, do they? And sort of get on board and go, oh, you know, things are changing, etc. I guess we'll have to move with it. No, it must stay the same. You will follow the fucking Blairite template. How sad. And how behind are they? Can they not see this?
Old Mars Labour hustings. Angela Eagle and Owen Smith are back with me together. Angela Eagle, can you tell Owen why you would be a better leader than he would be?
Well, I think I'm from northern working class stock. My mum was a seamstress who didn't get the chance to go to university. I did because of Labour governments, and that's why my whole political mission is to get working class kids.
The good news is Angela Eagle has actually stepped down from the leadership race. Yeah.
Very much looking forward to launching my campaign later today.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because she's about as likeable as a fucking year-old cat turd stuck to a wheelie bin. It's just sad. Like, nobody liked her.
Be on the ballot.
I heard the eagle has landed. I think it should have been the eagle is blanded. And the reason presented by The Guardian, just guess what it is.
I have lodged my papers with the General Secretary.
Because she's a woman. That's what it is. It's sexism at work. According to The Guardian, again linked below, it's because she's a woman. I guess there must be a lot of sexism going around the LPP. So I wonder if there's a lot of ageism as well, because by that logic, couldn't you say the same about Corbyn? They just hate him because he's old, damn it. That's all it is. It's ageism. Maybe they do hate him because he's old. I don't know. But I suspect there's other reasons as well. And it's got absolutely nothing to do with the fact that she voted for the Iraq War and that she was for Trident modernisation. And it had nothing to do with her support for military intervention. Nothing at all. All because woman.